Hi, my name's Sophia, and since starting my YouTube channel 4 years ago, I have been all over the place. So after 4 years of posting sporadically, hopping around the world, and never really knowing what my next move would be, I think it's finally time I formally introduce myself. Now, you probably don't know who I am, but if you just happen to, it's probably from my How I Got Into UCLA videos, aka the videos that started this channel. After a failed attempt at becoming a college content creator, mainly because I was too scared to post, I graduated from UCLA in March of this year and walked the stage in June. But my journey to this accomplishment was far from the conventional track. As you'll learn, I pride myself on avoiding convention. After being admitted to UCLA in March of 2020 and sharing it on the internet, I started college in my childhood home in Miami. I had never stepped foot on UCLA's campus. I hadn't even stepped foot on California soil. The closest I had been was Arizona. After a quarter of taking classes from my bedroom and experiencing massive FOMO, I needed to get out. And so, with the blessing of my parents, I moved to Hawaii. Moving into a house with 6 strangers in Hawaii at 18 years old had not been on my life bingo card, but it most definitely happened. From there, I did school remotely while exploring the island. As my time came to a close, I made the decision to finally make my way over to LA. So for my spring quarter of freshman year, I lived in my college town with one of my friends from Hawaii. That quarter really was life on easy mode as I stepped foot onto UCLA's campus for the first time and got to experience a snippet of the real college experience. Fast forward to my sophomore year, and life was slowly getting back to normal. I moved into a dorm, living in a shoebox of a space with 2 other people. Some of my classes were in person, and the entire student body was finally entirely together on campus. I joined a sorority, which led to another YouTube video you might know me from, and dropped it later. My first quarter was a roller coaster ride, which left me emotionally and mentally drained, and when it was time to go back to school after winter break, I really didn't want to. But I didn't have an option, so I made my way back to LA, got into my first relationship, and spent the next 5 months of school growing more and more distant from UCLA. In April, I submitted a transfer application just in case I wanted a choice, and in June, I got accepted into that school and decided it was time for me to go. So after moving out of my dorm, saying goodbye to UCLA without having actually committed to transferring yet, and spending a summer in New York City doing an internship, I transferred to the University of Miami. Come August, I was attending the new student orientation and setting up a new college experience at UM. My time at UM was short and uneventful. I chose not to have the college experience while I was there and instead found a pocket of peace in my first apartment and the life I built around it. After my first semester at UM, I started to fall into a reoccurring crisis over the fact that I had transferred out of UCLA. I'd worked so hard in high school to go to a good school, and UM wasn't where I thought I'd end up. So after some soul searching and a trip to LA, I decided to start the process of getting myself back to UCLA. I left UM halfway through my second semester, got readmitted to UCLA, and committed myself to a much needed break for the next couple of months. In that time, I started dedicating myself a little bit more to YouTube in an attempt to finally chase my dreams. As my break came to an end, I moved on to the next thing, a summer internship in Nashville, which acted as my wake-up call that I didn't want to work a corporate career post-grad. And so after 8 weeks in corporate, I began telling everyone and anyone who would listen that I was going to be a content creator. The irony is I had 0 leads on being able to make content creation a career at the time. It wouldn't be until a month later that I would have my first viral video on TikTok. In between, I started at UCLA again officially with summer classes before moving to LA in September to start my senior year. I had a lot of hope for my second go around at UCLA, high on the possibility of making this experience so much better, but as the year chugged along, I learned how to create a content life regardless of your environment. Instead, I shared the pain of no contact on here. I watched my content creation dreams turn into a potential reality, and I even achieved some other dreams of mine in the process. As I battled through heartbreak and making it through my last year, I tried to capture all of it. During my time back home for winter break, my dad suggested I graduate early. With no plans to do so, I scrambled to make this possible in the first couple of weeks of my last quarter at UCLA and somehow was successful at the feat. On March 22nd, I graduated from UCLA after completing my last college final ever. Following my graduation, I took a quick trip to visit family in Germany, followed by a month back home where I started working on some of my passion projects, and then I traveled the world. No, seriously, I went to Japan, Australia, Singapore, and South Korea in the matter of 6 weeks, and I did the whole trip on my own. Landing back in the United States with 72 hours to spare before my college graduation ceremony, I quickly picked up the pieces that would allow me to attend my college graduation. With my family in attendance, I took the stage and very officially gave up my title of college student. A couple weeks later, I packed up my apartment, said goodbye to LA, and moved back home. So what now, you might be thinking? After all that chaos and excitement, there must be something big in store for me. Well, there isn't. yet. As I turn the chapter onto the rest of my life, I've decided to chase my dreams instead of taking a conventional track. As I look into the future, I see a blob of unknown. My decision to do something different post-grad makes it so that I have no clue what my life will look like in a month or a year. As I go through this journey blindly, I can only hope that my dreams wait for me on the other side, but for now, I have to find comfort in the fact that I can only hope that the work I'm putting in now will take me in that direction. So for the next bit, I'll be pursuing content creation, art, and writing, and I'll be sharing this journey with the world in the hopes that my stories inspire others or make them feel less alone. I'll reflect on the past as I work on the future, share the lessons that I've learned, and tell the stories that I've accumulated over these past couple of years. I can't wait to share it all with you. You can follow my journey on here, on TikTok, and on my podcast. I'll put everything in my description. Cheers to sharing this next chapter of life together. I can't wait to see where it takes us.